This conference will now be recorded.
In the previous session, we have discussed about data types, and we have discussed what exactly a data type and what it indicates. So what are the various data types that we have in Salesforce, which we can choose upon creating the fields, and what exactly each data type indicates, and what are the various properties that we have for every data type, and the significance of each and every property we have discussed in the previous session. And in the previous session, we have discussed few data types like text type, text area, text area long, text area rich, email type, phone type, checkbox type, date and the time, and the date type. So these are the various data types that we have discussed. So we have few more data types are available. Let's see these data types now, and then we'll see how to create the fields inside your Salesforce objects. Now, the next data type is geolocation. So now tell me, what do you mean by this geolocation data type? What kind of data this particular data type allows us to store? Hmm. Geographical location.
Longitude and latitude.
Now, generally, in order to locate a particular area or a location nowadays, we are using the help of geographical coordinates. Each and every area, each and every location is having the geographical coordinates, like the latitude and the longitude values are available. So whenever if you want to generate any Google Maps, Google Map is expecting these two geographical coordinates, latitude and the longitude. Whenever we are passing these two values, based on that value, it is going to be locating that particular area. It will be finding out the shortest route map. Based on the route map, we can reach to the destination as well. So whenever if you want to store this kind of geographical coordinates of a particular area or a customer address, then we can use the help of geolocation. In this geolocation field, we can store both latitude, longitude values by separating a comma. By separating a comma, we can store both latitude value and longitude value inside that field. So to store these values, we are using the help of this data type geolocation. Okay. Now, so what are the various properties that we have for this data type? Now, let's see. Now, make a note of this one. It allows us to store geographical coordinates a particular area or location. That is latitude and longitude values. Latitude and longitude values we can store inside this field. So whenever if you want to store the latitude value and the longitude value of a particular location, we are using the help of this geolocation data type. Now, the properties. First four properties are common, like as field label, field name, description, helper text. The fifth property is required checkbox. Fifth property is required checkbox, which is used to make the field value required. Then now, next one, URL data type. What do you mean by this URL data type? What type of data that we can store? Links.
This will
Links in the
store the
sense.
URL of the page.
Hmm.
So the website.
Now we can store website names. Hmm. Website names
URL of the page.
are path of the application or path of a web service. Now, whenever if you want to store the URLs, that means website names are a path of a web application or a path of a website or a path of a web service also. So don't expect always like as a shortest form, like salesforce.com, icicibank.com, gmail.com. Don't expect that for shortest forms. Because this URL may be having a bit lengthy URL also. It may be having some lengthy path of the application also, web service also. Like for example, suppose when you go to some web services URL will be a bit lengthy. Let me show you. For example, let me show you some web service URL, how it will look like. Now, so let me show you how this web service URL will look like. So it's not a shortest format, it will be having a bit lengthy URL also. Now, like, let me show you. So this is a URL. So don't expect a shortest form, because whenever if you're having a web service, this is the name of the web service here. This is the path of the web service where exactly it has been deployed. Whenever if you want to connect to this web service, we have to use this complete path. This path is called as endpoint. It is called as endpoint URL to which we would like to connect. So in this case, this is the target of our application. So in this case, if you want to store either a small website name like salesforce.com, gmail.com, or it may be abc.com, icicibank.com, whatever, along with that website name, if you want to store the path of a web application or a path of a web service, then we can use the help of this URL. So whenever we are saving the record, this entire URL will be representing in the form of a hyperlink. So that upon click on that hyperlink, it will be redirecting the user to the respective website name automatically here. For that reason, we are using the help of this URL data type, especially to store the website names and the path of this URL or web services. We are using the help of this URL data type. Okay. Now, make a note of this one. It allows us to store the website name or part of a web application or part of a web service. Part of a web service inside the field. While saving the URL, it represents on the user interface in the form of a hyperlink. In the form of a hyperlink. So let's see the properties. The properties will be same. The first four properties are common, and the last property is required checkbox. First four properties are common, and the last property is required checkbox. Done? Now,
Done, sir.
Done, sir.
now let's see. The next data type, text encrypted. So what do you mean by encrypting? Encrypting in the sense, generally,
Hiding the
Secured.
actual data.
okay,
No, readable
represents
into
a
non-readable.
form of
You are making that particular data into
now.
non-readable one using their public keys.
Now, in this case, encrypting in the sense converting the actual content into another format which can't be understandable by the people. Like there are some sensitive information or confidential information which we used to store during our business, during our organization. Upon storing the data, some data will be visible in the actual format. Some data I want to make it hide. That means I don't want to make it visible to the people. That too, I want to make it represented in an encrypted format. That means in another format, even though the other people can see my data, but they can't understand what exactly it is. I want to convert this data into another format based on a specific key. Like for example, assume that I'm using some password. Now tell me the password will be represented in the actual format? No. Whatever the password that we have entered, all the characters are visible in the form of star. Okay. Even though the people are able to see these stars, they can't understand what exactly each character, they don't know. That means you're encrypting the data into another format based on a key. For example, I'm entering some PIN number here. Okay, the bank account PIN number. So that will be representing like as stars. Now, so now in this case, whatever the digit that we have entered, the digit will be represented in the form of a cross format here. Now, whenever I'm having my bank account number. So once you are done with the transaction, Okay, once you are done with the transaction, you will be getting an alert to your mobile, to your email ID also both. So whatever the notifications or whatever the alerts that were received, in that alert, will it represent the complete account number? No, it won't show the
No.
complete account number. Only the last four digits will be
Ending
getting
with
visible.
last 4 digits.
Remaining digits will be in the format of star format. It will show that. Whenever you are performing any credit card transactions, whenever we are performing any credit card transaction, it won't represent the complete credit card number inside your alerts. It will represent the first 12 digits will be in the form of the encrypted format. Last four digits will be getting visible to you in the actual format. That means what? Whenever if you are going to be storing some confidential data or sensitive data, I don't want to visible that complete data to the people because they can misutilize. They can do some fraudulent transactions. So to avoid these kind of problems, in some cases, I want to represent the complete content in encrypted format. In some cases, I want to encrypt only some starting 6 characters or the starting 12 characters in encrypted format. Remaining content will be visible in actual formats also. So that here, whenever if you want to encrypt the data or convert the data in another format which can't be understandable by the people, we can use the help of a data type called as text encrypted. By using this text encrypted, we can represent the content in encrypted format so that even though the hacker people are able to see your password, but they can't decode. They can't understand what exactly the password is. For that reason, we are using the help of text encrypted. Okay, now let's see. Make a note of this one. It allows us to store the confidential or sensitive data in the form of encrypted format. In the form of encrypted format based on the key. Like for example, passwords, bank account PIN numbers, bank account numbers, credit card details, credit card number, like that. Now, the properties. So what are the various properties that we have for this text encrypted data type now? First four properties are common. First one, field label, field name, description, help text. First four properties are common. The fifth property is required checkbox so that we can make this a field mandatory. Like whenever we are entering the data in login screen, password should be always mandatory. So compulsorily we have to enter password. So if you want to make that field required, we can use the help of this required checkbox. Next. Masked type. Masked type. So what exactly the masked type property indicates? Basically, masked type property is used to indicate what type of masking that you want to apply. What type of masking that you want to apply. That means these are in the masked format here. These are in the masked format, which will not visible. The actual content is not visible over here. The actual content is not visible here. So now here all the characters may be represented in masked format, or last 4 digits may be getting visible also. It depends upon the requirement. So now we can decide here what kind of masking that you want to apply, that we can decide. As part of this masked type, we are having the various options. Like the first option, passwords. Whenever I'm selecting this option as masked type as password, all the characters in which you have entered will be represented in masked format. Because in password, every character will be in the masked format, so that whenever I'm selecting the masked type as password, every character that you have stored inside this field will be in the masked format. Next one. Credit card number. Whenever I'm selecting this credit card number option, last 4 digits will be visible in the actual format, remaining content will be in the actual format. Third one. SSN number, social security number. US insurance policy number. US insurance policy number. Like that, here we are having various options are available. Depends upon the requirement, we can choose that masked type. Next, the last properties. Masked character. Whenever if you want to apply the masking, okay, whenever if you want to apply the masking, what kind of character you would like to use? You want to use either star or you want to use either cross. Depends upon the requirement, we can use that, we can choose that masked character, either star or cross, any one of that we can choose. Based on the application requirement, we can able to choose this masked character also. So these are few properties that we have as part of this text encrypted data type. Only those two, no other characters. Even though when you go to any application also, only these two characters will be used. 90% of the cases, these two, this star format. Whenever we are having characters are using this star, whenever you are using some digits, the people are using like a cross. It depends upon the business needs. When you go to the ATM machines, whatever the digit, whatever the pin number you have entered, it will show like as okay cross. Okay, like that. It depends upon the requirement. We can choose any one of these two.
Previously, boxes also.
Hmm.
Box also.
But the boxes in the sense, sometime before the boxes in the sense what? During that time, that respective character they don't know. Okay, behind that box, what character they have used, they don't know that. But now we are having some more security mechanisms nowadays. So many security algorithms are also available. Security systems are also available in place in IT industry. That's what here we are using this kind of star or hash, because any other one of the class format in order to show that. We no need to use that box formats over there. Next one, number. So what do you mean by this number data type now? Numericals. Numerical in the sense we have two ways. One is integer, second one decimal. What kind of data it should allow?
Both decimal and integer.
Hello?
Can't we store decimal values? Do we have any other data type to store the decimals? No, right? Then in this case here, number data type will allows us to store the numerical values, which includes integer values also, decimal values also, both. Okay, we can store both numerical integer part, decimal part values also both. So upon storing this numerical value, this number data type allows us to store a maximum of an 18-digit number inside this. Maximum of an 18-digit number inside this. It's not only 2 digits, not only 3 digits, it will allow us to store maximum of an 18-digit number. Inside this 18 digits, how many digits you want to allocate for decimal point, that we can decide. So depends upon your application, how many decimal digits you want to show, that you can decide. Suppose if you want to store only integer part, number of decimal digits will be 0. Don't show any decimal digits. Please display purely like as integer. If you want to show one decimal digit, like as 10.5, 10.9, okay, 4.2, like that, only one digit after the decimal point, then we can indicate I want to allow one decimal digit. If you want to show some three decimal digits, like whenever if I'm storing the product weight, it will be having like as some 10 kg, okay, 450 grams. If I'm storing a person's weight also, then we are using that, okay, 60 kg, 750 grams, like that. So at that time, three digits are required here. In some cases, I want to store the result of a formula. Like for example, I'm using that 10 by 3. It will represent the value 3.3333, like that. There more number of digits will be available, but I don't want to round up the value here. I don't want to round up the value because if I'm rounding up this value, then automatically my formula will get changed. Because when you go to some scientific calculations, when you go to some pharmaceutical calculations, they don't want to round up the values, because if the rounding up the value, automatically the formula will get changed. They want the exact value here. Upon preparing their formulas, they want the exact values. So at that time, we need to place some more number of digits after the decimal points as well. In some cases, I want to store the pi value here, which will be having 3.1416, which will be having some 4 digits after the decimal point. So we can decide. Depends upon your requirement here. We can store, okay, whatever the numerical values you want to store, either integer or either decimal values also we can store inside this number data type. So even though the number data type allows us to store an 18-digit number, that we can decide how many digits you would like to apply. How many digits you want to allow, that we can decide depends upon the requirement. Now, for example, I want to create a field with the name age to store the age of a customer. Now tell me how many digits are required? 2 digits are max, not more than that. That means 2 digits in the sense it will allow up to 99. Okay,
99.
so that is sufficient here. Even though it is giving this 18-digit number max, but we can control, we can restrict how many number of digits to be get allowed, okay, inside the field, that we can decide. So that whenever if you want to store some numerical values, like some customer codes, some product codes also, age of the customer also, weight of a customer also, weight of a product also, anything, at that time we are using the help of number data type. Okay, so number data type allows us to store the numerical values inside the field, which includes decimal and integer values also. Okay, now let's see. Yes, each and every digit will be considered over here. It may be decimal, it may be integer part. It allows us to store maximum of an 18-digit number inside the field. It allows us to store maximum of an 18-digit number inside the field, which includes both integer and decimal values, which includes both integer and decimal values. We can store any value also, whatever you want. Now the properties. First 4 properties are common as usual. First 4 properties are common. Fifth property, length property, to indicate how many number of digits to be get allowed, okay, inside the field that we can restrict. Even though it is having the capability to allow up to 18 digits, that we can restrict how many digits you would like to allow. And then number of decimal digits. How many digits you would like to allow after the decimal point here. Upon storing the data, after the decimal point, how many digits you would like to allow, that we can decide with the help of this number of decimal digits property. Seventh one, required checkbox. Whenever if you want to make the field required, we can indicate this, okay, required checkbox. And then external ID checkbox.
Then, sir,
Done with this? Next. The next data type, percent. What do you mean by this percent data type? What it indicates now? Ratios. Okay.
Any number converted in percentage.
Now, for example, assume that today I went to a shopping mall to buy some items. So I have selected some items. I went to the billing counter. So they have mentioned that if the bill amount is more than some 20,000, okay, they are offering some discount of some 25%. Okay, now. So now they have indicated the discount. Discount as 25. So now what do you mean by this 25? 25 rupees, 2500,
25%.
25,000, or what?
percentage.
25%. Okay, 25%. So upon storing these values, we have to represent 25 along with by postfixing with percentage symbol. Okay, along with we are postfixing with percentage symbol here. For example, assume that today I went to a jewelry shop to buy some, okay, gold or to buy any jewelry. So that are charging some GST. So now that will be some 1.5% will be, okay, state government, and 1.5% will be central government. So the charging total 3% of GST on the bill amount. If I am purchasing the gold cost of some 1 lakh rupee, we have to pay 3,000 rupees to the government as a tax, GST. Because 3% of the GST will be there on the gold ornaments. 1.5% state government, 1.5% central government. For example, when you go to some restaurant to have some, okay, lunch or dinner, they're charging some service tax. It might be 18%. 18% of service tax. Whenever you are purchasing any vehicle, it may be two-wheeler or three-wheeler, they're charging 12% of GST. That means tax on that amount here. Whenever we are getting some marks, we are representing some marks over here, like as 80%. That means what? In some cases, few values were representing in the form of percentages. We are not representing directly the numbers over here. We are representing those values along with by postfixing with percentage. So these values are representing in the form of percentage. Like some discounts also, GST values also, service tax also, or it may be like some your marks also. Here we are representing in the form of percentages. So these are also numerical values only. But not only showing this percentage symbol, we are indicating a numerical value. It may be an integer, it may be a decimal value also, both. Here also in this case, percent data type will allows us to store the numerical values up to maximum of in 18 digit here also. Here also same length over here. Number, percent, currency. These three will be having the same length, 18 digits max. So, percent data type allows us to store maximum of an 18-digit number, which includes decimal digits also. It may be purely integers, it may be including decimal and then the integer values also both. But the specialty is whenever we are saving this record inside your object, then it will be representing this number along with by postfixing with percentage symbol automatically. On the screen, it will show that number along with that percentage symbol. If it is a number, it will show as it is, like as 100, 45, 3.141616 as it is here. It won't show any percentage symbols, but for especially for the percentage data type, each and every value will be represented along with by postfixing with percentage symbol here. Okay, so for that reason, we are using the help of percentage data type here. Clear? Now, let's see. Make a note of this one. It allows us to store maximum of in 18-digit number which includes both integer and decimal digits, which will get postfixed with percentage symbol, which will get postfixed with percentage symbol. Properties. First four properties are common. Fifth property is length property. Sixth property is number of decimal digits. Seventh property is required checkbox. In order to make this field value required, we can use the help of required checkbox.
Done, sir.
Done, sir.
Okay. Done with the properties? Now. Next. Currency. Currency data type is for what? To store what kind of values?
Currency values.
dollar,
Currency values.
rupee.
Hmm. For example, today I went to
Revenue will be
a
converted
shopping
in
mall. I have
currency.
purchased some items. They have generated that bill. The bill amount is some 450. Now, upon saving this record, it should represent that here. Bill amount is 450. 450 what? Rupees, pounds, dollars, ends, or euros, or what? We need
Currency.
to indicate. So along with this currency, that means along with the number, we have to indicate that currency symbol. Where at the starting of that number or after the number, starting of the number. That means but prefixing that here, not postfixing. Percentage will be okay, postfixing that. Currency symbols will be prefixing that. So it is indicating dollar 450. So upon representing some currency values, we have to indicate that number along with the currency symbol also, which indicates very clearly this number 450 is nothing but it's not rupees, it's dollars, or it's pounds, it's euros, it's dirhams, whatever we want, whatever you want, you can specify that currency symbol. So whenever if you want to store this kind of numerical values along with the currency symbol, we are using the help of currency data type. So currency data type allows us to store the numerical values, including integer also, decimal also. Sometimes I want to store the service tax value here. Service tax is like as some 240 rupees and 50 paisa. That means along with rupees, we need to indicate the decimal digits also here. So that we can store currency data type allows us to store maximum of in 18 digit number, like as number, percent, currency. These three are having the same length, 18 digits. But every data type is having its own significance functionality. Number will show the number value as it is. Percent will show that number value by postfixing with that percentage symbol. And then currency will represent the number by prefixing with that currency symbol. That may be rupees or dollars or euros or pounds, whatever. Depends upon the currency symbol which you have configured inside your Salesforce arc. Now, so that here it allows us to store both integer values and the decimal values also inside this field. Whatever the value that we have entered, that value will be post prefixing with the currently configured currency symbol inside your Salesforce arc automatically by default. Now, let's go to that Salesforce arc. Now, I'm going to my account object now. So let's go to this account object here. Now we can see the currency values also. I'm indicating all accounts. Now I want to show that currency value also. Let me add that field, annual revenue. I'm adding this annual revenue field over here. Now, whenever it is representing the annual revenue value has been represented along with the dollar symbol here. It is representing with the dollar symbol. Because upon creating the Salesforce account, by default, Salesforce is providing the default settings. There it is providing the default time zone of US, the default currency as dollars also over here. So this is the dollar currency it is representing over here. Now, so in this case, you can raise the question, sir, my business is running purely in India. In India, we are measuring the currency in the form of rupees. Do we have any chance to change this currency symbol from dollar to rupees? Yes, there is a possibility here where we can change this information. Now, where we can change? Just you can go to that setup menu, go to the setup menu, search for the option company information link. Go to the option company information link. Click on this company information link. Now we can see our organization details. We can see our organization details. Click on this edit button. Once you click on this edit button, it will provide your organization details Along with that, we can able to change your currency settings. So here we will be having a section called as currency settings section will be available. Inside that you will be having a pick list control called as currency locale. Okay, currency locale pick list is available here. Go to the currency settings section. In this currency settings section, we have a field called as currency locale. So now here it is indicating the default currency as what? US dollars. Okay, English US dollars here. Now it is populating the default option as US dollars. But I don't want to show the dollars, I want to show rupees. In this case, we have two options will be available here. Like as we are having English India, you will be having these options, two options will be available. English India, second one Hindi India. These are the two options will be available here. For Indian currency, we are having these two options will be available here. English India and the Hindi India. Select any one of that, no problem here. Now, sometime before, for English India, it is showing like a simply rupees. Okay, rupees here. But now, okay, it is providing the rupees currency symbol here. Because sometime before for Indian currency, we don't have any symbol. Okay, so almost 5-6 years back, Indian government has introduced a currency symbol for Indian currency also. Before that, we don't have this currency notation for our Indian currency. Okay, but now we are having this currency symbol. So now before this currency symbol, it is representing like a some rupees. But now we can use that currency symbol over here. Now I would like to select this option, English India. Select the option as English India. So which will be representing the currency symbol from dollar to rupees. Click on save. Let's go to your object now. Refresh the user interface. Now it will show the currency symbol as rupees. So depends upon your requirement, depends upon the business. Okay, we can configure your own currency symbols also over here. Okay, based on the requirement, we can change the currency symbols also. Now, in some cases, you can raise a question, sir, my business is running in multiple countries. It's a multinational organization. So now we are having the branches in India, UK, US, Japan, Germany, Middle East, China, in multiple countries. In each and every country, we are using the different currency symbol here. In US, we have a different currency. In Europe, we are having a different currency. India, different currency. Middle East, different currencies are available. Then do we have any possibility to maintain the multiple currencies inside my Salesforce, or can we maintain multiple currencies? Whenever the people are logging into my Salesforce application from a particular location, based on that location, okay, based on the location from which they are accessing the application, it will identify, okay, what is that location, what is that city, what is that state, what is that country. Based on that state, based on the country, it will identify the currency, that currency values will be represented over there. So in this case, do we have any possibility to enable multiple currencies in our Salesforce? Yes, there is a possibility. Not only representing one currency information, we can represent multiple currencies as well. For that reason, just you can go to your same company information link, click on edit button, go to that currency settings section. Here we have an option called as activate multiple currencies checkbox. Activate multiple currencies checkbox. Now, here, once you select this checkbox and once you click on save, this option you can't disable it again. Once a multiple currencies option has been enabled, that will be fixed. You can't disable that option again here. There is no such options at all in Salesforce. This will be one-time job. Only one time we can enable. Once you are enabling, we can't disable this option again. Okay, now this is the first step. So now activate multiple currencies option from your organization. Just you can select the checkbox and then save it. Then we need to make a case to Salesforce support team. Raise a case to the Salesforce support team to enable multiple currencies for your organization from Salesforce server side also. From Salesforce server side, they have to enable that multiple currencies option for your R. Then only it will convert the currency value based on the current dollar value, euro value, also pound value, whatever. Or else it can't convert. Because it's a dollar value, euro value, dirham values are keep on changing day by day, it is keep on changing that value. Based on that values, it has to be get converted with the help of currency converters. It will integrate with the currency converters. Based on the currency converter, it will be changing these values automatically by default. Like, for example, suppose for example here, multiple currencies has been enabled for my R. Assume that. Now, today I have created a record with the name some Dickinson PLC. Okay, Dickinson PLC. So for this record, here I'm indicating the annual revenue as 5 crores. Okay, 5 crores. This is what? Rupees. 5 crore rupees. Tomorrow I will go to US. Okay, tomorrow I will go to US. When you open this record, it should show that same value here. Now in this case, it has to show the value in the form of dollar, right? Yes, because I'm accessing the application from US. I want to convert this currency into dollars. Now tell me simply, can I change instead of rupees, can I change this a dollar over here? Is it right? 5 lakhs rupees, 5 lakhs dollars, both are same? No,
No,
there
we
is a
should
huge
convert
difference.
this
No.
5 lakhs rupees
Now,
to
then what we need
dollars.
to do? We need to convert this 5 lakh rupees into dollars based on the current dollar rate. The dollar rate maybe 75 also, 72 also, 80 also, whatever. Depends upon the current dollar rate. We need to convert this value 5 lakhs into dollars. That value should be get represented over here. So in this case, we need to convert that value from rupees to dollars, dollars to rupees also we need to convert. For that one, it should interact with that currency converters. Okay, so that we have to make a case to the Salesforce support team to enable the multiple currencies for your organization from the Salesforce side also. Then only it will be acceptable to convert that currency values. Okay, now here you can raise a question, sir. It will convert the currency value from dollar to rupees, rupees to dollars. Okay, fine. Then how Salesforce will know from which location I'm accessing my application? How these people will know? Today I'm accessing from India. Tomorrow we'll go to the US. Then from there I will access my application. How Salesforce will know from where I'm accessing my application? Geolocation. How? Where it will capture here?
Depending on server name.
Depending upon the login.
Now,
Login
in this case, Salesforce will be tracking all the information internally by default. Whenever the user has logged into the application, every details will be tracking by Salesforce. Let me show you. There is an option called as login history. There is an option called as login history in Salesforce. It will be tracking everything internally here. Just you can go to the login history. These are the login details are available here for my org. So these many number of times I have logged into my application over here. Now we can download this data. Just you can go to that download now button, download this data here. Whatever the download history, login history is available, we can download. It will be downloading this data into your Excel sheet. Just you can go to the Excel sheet. Now we can see the data here. Now, it will track everything here. Internally by default, Salesforce will track everything. So what is the user who logged into this particular organization? This is the username. Username it is tracking. The login date and time. Okay, login date and time here. IP address of my system from which I have been logged into my application. Login type, how you have logged in? By using my Salesforce application, by using login.salesforce.com. Now my login status is success. That means I have entered right username and the password. If I'm giving wrong password, it will show the message invalid password over here. Now, in order to access this application, I'm using this Chrome browser with the version 107. I'm using Windows 7, Windows 10 operating system inside my local device. I'm using the browser to access my Salesforce application. I'm not using mobile app. I'm not using data loader. To access that, I'm using the browser to access my application. It will track my domain name. Okay, the domain name also here. It will track the protocol which it is using to transfer the data here. It is using that encrypted key also internally. This is the country from which I'm accessing my application. This is the country name and the country code. This is the state from which I'm accessing this application. This is a city from which I'm accessing the application. This is the postal code and the latitude and the longitude value of the location. Everything is tracking by Salesforce internally here. Okay. So now the people will start off, I'm logging into my application from any place, but Salesforce will track everything over here. Okay. Salesforce will track everything internally by default. Okay. Including your latitude and longitude values also, Salesforce will track. Okay. This feature is available over here. Because of this feature, so many people are losing their jobs also. Okay. Be careful about these options here. Okay. Because of this feature, okay, now so many people are losing their jobs. Now, because whenever you are getting some proxy support, okay, be careful about this. Salesforce administrators will track everything. Okay. So in this case here, we can able to change the currencies also, and then we can able to enable multiple currencies options also inside your Salesforce app. Clear? Now, let me explain one more small point in this case. In some cases, even though whenever you are enabling the currency as rupees, okay, now this rupees symbol will not be visible to you. At that time, in the rupees place, it will be representing like as a small, like a square box. It will show like as a small square box over there. It won't show that rupees symbol. It will show simply a small square box over here. Because sometime before, we don't have any currency symbol for our Indian government. For the Indian government, Indian currency, we don't have any currency symbol. So during that time, okay, during that time, we are simply showing like as some rupees, RS. Okay, rupees we are indicating as RS. Now, almost 6-7 years back, Indian government has introduced a currency symbol for Indian currency also, that is rupees. Now, if we are using a system which is very old system, okay, if we are using a very old system where operating system has been installed very long back, almost 7-8 years back, if you install the operating system, it won't show the currency symbol inside your browser. Simply, it will show like as a rectangular box over there. In this case, during the time, almost 7 years back in the Windows operating system, we don't have any notation. Okay, we don't have any notation for the Indian currency symbol. So in this case, if you want to show this kind of Indian currency, then we have to install a Windows update. We have to install a Windows update, because through that Windows update, we can show the Indian currency symbol inside your browsers also. So now, as part of your operating systems, we have to add an additional update also. Okay, a Windows currency package we have to install. Like for example, we are having this, okay, Windows 7 or Windows 10, okay, Indian currency update. Currency update for Windows 7. Now, so now we can go to that Microsoft websites over there. Now, you will be having that an update will be available from Microsoft. Just you can go to that Microsoft update over there. Now, for this Indian currency rupees, we have to install that latest update for that. Now, Keyboards. Now, not only for the keyboards, so for the Windows operating system. Now, so now here we can go with that Windows 7 update also for the Indian currency symbol here. So now we can able to install that update as well here. Now, so now you will be having that Windows, okay, support will be available for that Indian currency as well. Country specific updates will be available over here, depends upon the country. We can able to get the updates also over there. So now based on that country, we can able to install that update inside your Windows operating system. We have to update that. If you have installed that Windows operating system very long back, then only we can do this. If it is the recent one, almost 4 or 5 years back, you no need to do this installation updates additionally, that will be represented. Inside your browser, if it is showing like some square boxes instead of rupee symbol, then that means the problem is because inside your Windows operating system, Indian currency update is not available. So then we have to update that Windows currency symbol, Indian currency symbol update inside that. Or else, if it is showing the Indian currency symbol rupees, no issues here. You can continue with that. Okay. Now, this is one additional update that we have to do that. Clear? Now, let's see. Make a note of this one. Currency. It allows us to store maximum of an 18-digit number, which includes both integer and decimal digits. Integer and the decimal digits. It represents a value by prefixing with the currently configured currency symbol inside the organization. By prefixing with the currently configured currency symbol inside the organization. We can change the currency symbol based on the country from company information settings. We can activate the multiple currencies. For our organization. We can activate the multiple currencies for our organization also. Now, the properties. First 4 properties will be same. Fifth property is length property, which is used to indicate how many number of digits to be get allowed inside this field. And next one, we would like to indicate that number of decimal digits. number of decimal digits property, and the required checkbox property also. These are the various properties that we have as part of this currency data type.
Firoz, I mean, you were telling about the phone number field last class. So if we are entering the Indian number, the application still take the format into US.
Yes.
Okay,
That
but how do we convert that? I think that is a default option in the Salesforce.
Yeah, that is the default option. Based on that currency, we can convert. Based on that time zone, we can change that value. We'll see in upcoming sessions. We'll see how can we change that, the time zones and everything.
No, mobile number I'm talking about, phone number.
Okay. So now for that phone number, we can go with that formulas. Two formulas, we can change that value.
Okay, that you'll cover in the
Format we
upcoming
can change.
sessions.
Yes, that's right. During the formula topic, we'll see.
Okay, sure. Done. Thank you, Firoz.
Done, sir.
No. Done with the properties? No. Next one, pick list controls. So what exactly the pick list data type and what it indicates? What are the various properties that we have in the pick list control? Now let's see practically. Now let me explain how the pick list control look like. For example, I'm having a pick list control like this. Now I'm indicating this field, okay, with the name, select the country name, which will represent a pick list control, which represents a pick list control. So the look and feel will be looking like this. It will be having a small drop down option will be available. It will have a small drop down option will be available inside this. Okay, so this is the control. By default, it is populating the default value as none. Okay, it is having the default value as none. So that means nothing has been selected as of now. Okay, now. So whenever we are creating the pick list control, the look and feel will be looking like this. It's like as a drop down. In other programming languages, we're calling it as a drop down, but in Salesforce, we're calling it as pick list control. Okay, now. So now in this case here, by default in this pick list control, I want to populate some set of values. Some country names I would like to populate inside this. For example, I'm indicating some country names inside this to be get populated here. Like for example, some India, United States, the Middle East, Australia, Japan, China, and Germany. So now these are the various countries which I would like to populate inside my control. In this pick list control, I would like to populate all these options. These are the options I would like to populate. Sometimes we can raise a question. Sir, whenever we are populating these items inside this pick list control, do we have any possibility to arrange these items in alphabetical order and populate the sorted order of elements in the control? Yes. Generally, in the picklist controls, whatever the options are visible, those will be in sorted order. That means ascending order, A to Z format, minimum to maximum. So, like the similar way, I would like to arrange these elements in alphabetical order also. So, whatever the elements are available, I would like to arrange them in alphabetical order. So, these elements I would like to represent it over here. So, now here I'm arranging these elements now. The first element will be Australia, China, Germany, India, Japan, and Middle East, and then United States. So whatever the country names that we have entered, those country names are going to be arranging in alphabetical order automatically by default. The country names has been arranged in alphabetical order automatically, and this sorted order of elements are populating inside my control over here. This is how we can able to do that here as part of this tick list control here. Now, in this case, whenever if you want to store this kind of elements, okay, whenever if you're storing this kind of elements, sometimes you can raise a question, sir, by default it is showing this option as none. Do we have any option to set the first option as the default one? Whenever I'm trying to be creating a record, inside this country name field, it has to select that Australia as by default. Do we have any settings over here? Yes, that is also possible. So we can able to set that first option as the default option also inside this control. Based on your requirement, we can able to set these options also over here. We can set that option, first option as a default option also that we can set. Depends upon your requirement, we can set that. Now, sometimes we can raise a question, sir, I want to set this Middle East as the default option. We can set any option also. It may be first one, last one, middle one, anything, whatever you want. We can set some default options as well here. Okay, clear? Now, let's see. So now tell me, whenever it is populating this collection of elements, how many elements we can select at a time? Only one or multiple? Only one. This is a specialty of the pick list control. Pick list control will allow us to select only one element from the group of elements. It will populate a collection of elements. From there, we can select only one element, okay, which you want. Whatever the country to which you are associated, select only the country name from the pick list control. Other elements or multiple options we can't choose. Only one option we can select inside the control over here. Okay, clear? Now, let's see. Make a note of this one. What are the various properties available? We'll see. Pick list control. It allows us to select only one element from the collection of elements. It allows us to select only one element from the collection of elements. So from the collection of elements, we can select only one element over here. Now, properties. First four properties are common. Field label, field name, description, and the helper text. And the fifth property is values property. Values property is used to indicate what values, what options you want to populate inside the control that we can decide. Option to be populated inside the control. Values property is used to indicate what options, what country names you would like to populate inside the control that we can select by using this values property. Next one. Select the checkbox. Arrange the elements in alphabetical order. So whatever the options that we have entered, which needs to be get populated inside the control, if we want to arrange them in alphabetical order, then we have to use the help of the checkbox, arrange the elements in alphabetical order. There is a checkbox property here. Required checkbox. To make the field required, we are using the help of this required checkbox. Checkbox property here. Okay, it's a checkbox property. Next one. One more checkbox property is available here. Make the first option as a default. Make the first option as a default one. That means whatever the options that we have, after arranging the elements in alphabetical order, whatever the options are available, from those options, the first option will be setting as a default option inside your pickles control. To indicate that we are having the checkbox property, that is make the first option as default. Next, the last property in this one. Restrict the values based on the values set. Restrict the values based on the values set. Now, then what do you mean by this property over here? What you do understood with this property, restrict the values based on the values set. Okay, no. Now, whenever we are going to be creating the records, upon creating the records inside your object, for this country field, we can pass the country name from any one of this here. If you are creating the record through programming, if you are inserting the record through third-party systems, if you are creating the record through integrations, if you are creating the record through data loader, at that time, for this country field, if you are passing any other country name other than this, if you are passing any other country name, what you want me to do? You want me to allow that record, or you want me to discard that record operation? You want me to cancel that operation? That we can decide with the help of the property, restrict the values based on values set. If this checkbox is selected upon creating the field, if this checkbox is selected, then while creating the record inside my object for this country field, I'm passing a different country name. Like for example, I'm giving this country name as some UK. In this case, what will happen? My record cannot be acceptable. Simply the whole record operation will get cancelled over. Because the country name UK I'm trying to insert, but that country name is not available in the list. Whatever the items that are populated, we can pass the country name from any one of this list here. If you are passing any different country name, record cannot be acceptable. For that reason, to restrict that, we are using the help of this, restrict the values based on the value set. Suppose if this checkbox is not selected, if the checkbox is not selected, now upon creating the record for this country, if you are passing any other value also, that record will be accepted as it is. For that reason, we are using the help of these properties. Clear? Now, next one. Next control is what? Pick list multi-select. What do you mean by pick list multi-select control?
We can select multiple
Right.
options.
We can
Multiple
select
valid.
multiple elements also. Okay, we can select multiple elements also. Not only one element, we can select multiple elements also from the pick list control here. Okay, that facility is available. For that one, we are having this pick list multi-select option. Now, let's see. This control allows us to select one or more elements from the collection of elements. Now, the properties. First four properties are common. Fifth property is values property to specify the list of values to be get populated inside the control. What options you would like to populate that we can specify with the help of this values property. Sixth property, there is a checkbox property is available which will be indicating that arrange the elements in alphabetical order. So whatever the elements are available inside the pick list control, if you want to arrange the elements in the alphabetical order, then we can able to select that property. Okay, arrange elements in alphabetical order. Next one. Number of elements visible. How many number of elements you want to make it visible at a time, that we can decide with the help of this number of elements visible property. So by using this property that we can decide how many elements you want to show at a time. Even though we are having some collection of elements, then we can show only some 5 elements at a time. Remaining elements the people can see by using that scroll bar. For that reason, we are having this property number of elements visible here. Now, suppose for example here, in this case, there is a small common question is available in the entry point of view and in admin certification 201 also. For example, by using this pick list multi-select, I'm selecting some hobbies. Okay, hobbies. Assume that here I'm having the pick list multi-select control is available, which is populating so many hobby names. Now tell me a person can have how many hobbies? Only one or multiple? Multiple. A person can have multiple hobbies. Now tell me, I'm selecting some hobbies over here. Like for example, some chess, tennis, cricket, some reading books, now some music, movies. Now these are the hobbies I have selected. Now tell me how these hobby names will be storing inside the column. Inside your object field, how it will store these elements.
By comma separated.
Category means what? Now see, for example here, this is the field that we have. Inside my object, I'm having the field like this. So there is a field called as hobbies. How it will store these values? Will it be storing these values like as a separate records? Or will all the values will store in a single row? How it will store? Will it store all these elements like this, one by one, one by one, one by one? No. Then, how it will store this one?
In a single row with
Whatever the
comma
hobbies
separated.
have been specified, whatever
with
the
a
hobbies
comma
that have been
separator.
selected, these hobbies are going to be okay concatenating. Whatever the options that were selected, These options will be getting concatenated by using a separator called as semicolon. In Apex programming, whatever the hobby names or whatever the pick list, the multi-select options are available, these elements are going to be concatenating one by one. That means appending one by one side by side by using a separator called as semicolon. Like as a chess, semicolon, tennis, semicolon, cricket, semicolon, and then we are having reading books, semicolon, and the music, semicolon, and then movies. It will be considering all these elements like a single element by concatenating all these elements, okay, by using a separator semicolon, it will be storing all these values like as a single string inside this. It will store these values like as a single string inside this. This is how it will store. So whenever we are storing this pick list, the multi-select elements, these elements are going to be concatenating with the help of the separator called as semicolon here. Okay, understood the concept now? Now, because whenever if you are going to the development, if you want to create some record inside your object, if you want to pass a value for the field which is of type pick list multi-select, then we have to pass like this. You have to pass a value for that field through programming like this here. Okay. Now make a note of this one. While storing the data inside the field, it will concatenate all the values into a single string by using a separator semicolon. By using a separator semicolon. Okay. Now, so we have a last data type, okay, that we'll see in tomorrow's session, and then we'll see the concept of creating the fields. How to create the fields in the object, I will show you in tomorrow's session here. Okay. And then tomorrow we'll be sharing the requirement document to you so that you can work on that requirement document. By Monday, everybody has to complete that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Firoz, can
Thank
you just
you.
repeat? Firoz, I just have